This is an Electra head. It's a composition head. It's got it's about 30 inches when finished. It's an old antique doll, and I am restoring this head. This is a similar head that's around 100 years old. That's in pretty good condition that I'm going to leave in original condition because I like the look of this head. I might paint a little blue on the eye, on the iris, but other than that, I think this doll looks pretty cool. I'm going to show you what this head, it looked similar to this before I started. This is a Charlie Chaplin Electra. They were made into different characters, but I like them just to look like little boys, so I am painting this one just as a little boy. They were painted, like I said, in different, as different characters. So anyways, I have used epoxy 2-part clay to fill in holes. I've removed all the crumbling paint. As you can see, there's a lot of crumbling paint on this, and sanded and done all that before I painted it. Then I painted with a flesh color. I use one-shot paint, and I mix my own colors. I do mix this with cornstarch because it's really shiny, but I've already done that. I've brushed on, I didn't airbrush this, I brushed on all this flesh color, and you can see there's still cracks in this head, but these heads are so, I mean, they just don't break. They hardly ever break, so I'm not really worried about the little cracks that are left. If I kept putting more and more coats, it would eventually fill this in, but I have airbrushed the hair. I've also airbrushed the cheeks, and I've even done a little airbrushing around the eyes. Now, I just painted this on with some acrylic paint on the eyes. So here's one, another one without the eyes. This is one with the eyes. So I'm going to paint this doll features, and I'm going to show you as I go. This is my paint I've got out. I've got some red, brown, off-white, yellow, black, and some blue. And those are the colors that I'm going to use while I'm painting. And those are usually the only colors I ever use whenever I paint. Gotta get my brush out here. Composition dolls. So I do reborns also. So I've got, this is just water I'm going to use. I've got this on a bag because I'm just gonna throw this away when I'm done. Okay, now I'm going to line the top of this eye. I don't always do exactly like the dolls were. Some people do. I like to add a little variety, so I don't always do the exact same thing. I like to use a lot of brown because I think it kind of helps make things look antique. Now, it's been a couple years since I've really done any composition. These have been sitting in my basement, half finished, and I have been lazy about getting them done because I've been reborning so much. So I'm going to kind of show what I do. Now, not everybody does it this way, and I think that's fine, but you never, you know, I hate to see a doll with just pure white eyes. I think it looks really fake, and that's something I never do. As you can see, I'm just kind of painting over my white. And a lot of times dolls will be dirty in this area that I'm painting, so that kind of shows you. I'm giving it a little smoky look to it. Now I'm going to do that with the other eye, and I'll be back. All right, here I am again painting. I've done this other eye real similar, and I'm even going to do this a little bit around the nose. Not much. This isn't the same as a reborn, so we don't want to overdo it. But just really watered down paint. Now when I paint the eyebrows, that's another thing. I really water these down. You don't want a real thick brow. You don't want it to look extra dark. You can always add to it as you go. Sometimes I'll add another line. Sometimes composition dolls. And the Elektra wasn't necessarily painted like this. This, let me show you this other old doll and its face. It has really hideous eyebrows, but you know, they kind of have an ugly look to them, and I like that. Isn't that cool? So it's okay if they're not perfect, and I kind of like that look where there's a little shadowing. So I'm going to do the other eye, and make sure I get my water and not my paint thinner. I'm going, now I got that a little dark, as you can see. I'm going to take that off with the sponge, and I just want to make sure I get this watered down, my acrylic paint. And I'm going to have to look straight on because I'm having a hard time. So I'm going to turn this way, which is going to be kind of against the camera, but we're going to see if I can't get this on straight. And then I'm remembering to painting with a lot of water. I'm painting with a lot of water. Sometimes old dolls, the eyebrows came in together like that. And then I'm going to do another couple little lines here. Okay. I think those look pretty good, as you can see. I might put a little darkness in the corner here and here. You know, after reborning, I might be doing these a little differently because you do a lot of shadowing with reborning. But dolls kind of get patina on them, and this, I don't know. When people paint new, sometimes it just looks too new. So we got to dirty it up a little bit. Like I said, nobody wants a wide eye. Wide eyes look really fake. So you get it darker and kind of dirty looking, and it looks more real. For a repaint anyways. All right, now the next color I'm going to do is blue. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of blue to my paint. Just a tiny, tiny bit. As you can see, I'm mainly white. Then I'm going to add a little black. So I'm going to gray this. Now that is going to be my eye color. I think I'm going to do a side glance on this boy. The Electra dolls weren't really side glanced, but I don't really care because I'm repainting this and it's not going to be an original, so I'm going to have some fun with it. And I seem to always do well whenever I do a side glance baby. Like, people seem to like them. So of course, you know, I think anytime you are painting a composition doll, you need to think about whether it really needs to be repainted or not. I have several, actually the ones that I keep for my own collection, I don't paint. I like original. So I think that that is a preference. I'm going to put a little bit darker with a little black in it around the edge here. Remember that anytime you're painting, more than one color always adds depth. Whether it's on a reborn or even an old doll. Solid colors look kind of fake. They just don't look as original. And so I'm adding a little depth here. And I'm probably needing to reline this a little bit here, because I got rid of that. Something else, and I see it's not really showing up, I like to kind of put a little darker line here above, kind of for an eyelid. I'm going to come and do that again on this side. Okay, now I'm going to bring a black my little pupil in here. Now these weren't always perfect, the pupils, but I kind of like mine to look good. So I am going to try to make it look pretty circular. And let's see what that looks like. Now I'm going to add a little touch of highlight. Sometimes I'll put that right, let's do it on this side. So there's his eyes. I think that looks pretty cute. Now let's go to the lips. I don't like pure red. I like orange. Orange looks, so I'm going to mix red with some yellow. I'm going to do a little bit on the inside of his nose, on both nostrils. And then that may be just a little darker than I want actually, but let me make it a little more yellow. And most dolls have a little pink dot here in the corner. So I'm going to add a little pink dot here, and I'm going to try to make that a little less orange. Now I'm going to do my lips. I usually do a little darker. I'm going to put a little bit of black with my orange. That maybe looks hideous, I don't know. Might have to go back over this. This is the inside of the mouth, and that is definitely too dark. So I might try a little brown. And I'm going to mix again red, brown, and yellow. And see if I can't make, I'm gonna wipe that out. Just a little water, you can start over, got a little time. So I'm going to, much better. I want the inside of the mouth dark, because I am going to paint some teeth. Now the Electra doll didn't have teeth, but I like teeth, so I'm going to add it. Now I could paint this exactly, but I don't want to, because I think they were kind of hideous, this doll, so I'm trying to make him a little more fun. So now I'm going to just do yellow with my red, no black, or no brown this time. On the outside edge, a lot of dolls were made like this. A lot of old dolls were lined with a darker inner mouth. So even though I'm not following this exact doll's pattern, I'm following similar to an old doll of around 1915. This particular doll actually has a name. It is Elektra, but some of the old carnival dolls that I paint don't have names. They're unmarked, and they're really cool. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paint around the lips. And Might have gotten a little low on that, but I'm gonna leave it because I kind of like that. I'm gonna turn him, having a hard time painting, trying to face the camera. Now, let me get this corner. All right, so there are his lips. Now, last of all, I'm not going to put lashes on him because he's a boy, and a lot of times the boys didn't have lashes, but I am going to put some teeth. I've got to take my glasses off to do this. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, I think I'll add 4 teeth. And that is kind of what teeth looked like in these old dolls. I don't know, I probably could put them on the top too. Let me see if I can do that and make it look realistic. Well, of course it's not going to look realistic, but so there are the teeth for this baby. Might go a little bigger on these. It's not hard to add teeth to your old babies. So this head is done. If it was a girl, I would add some lashes, but I think he's adorable. So here he is unpainted. Here he is painted. And this is kind of the transformation that I've done. Even though it wasn't this exact head, this is the same mold. This is an Electra head right here, and so is this one. So now I'm going to work on the girl that matches. I have this head, and she actually had lights in her eyes, but I have filled that in. Some of these had lights and some didn't. Most of them didn't. She's also from 1915. She is an Electra. They were made in, you know, a boy and a girl. She has the coolest molded hair, and this is a bow that I'm going to have to paint, and it was always blue. And I actually have one in original condition that I will show you in a little bit, but I'm going to make another YouTube, and I'm going to paint her and show you.